All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Green Bay Packers rookie defensive lineman Warren Brinson. Brinson's kind of come out of nowhere from the 6th round, but I tell you what, folks, when you look at his film, I like what I see. I think the Packers got a massive steal here up front on their defensive line, and we'll break down everything Brinson did so well in the second preseason game for the Green Bay Packers. As always, in the comment section below, leave us with any feedback you might have. Plus, if there are any other players you want us to break down, make sure you let us know. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's open up with a pass rush, and there's Brinson right there, number 91, lined up in what we call a 3 technique on the outside shoulder of the guard there. If he was on the inside eye of the guard, we would call that a 2-eye technique if he was lined up right there. If he was on the outside shoulder of the center, like we see right here, we call it a 1 technique, and a head-up nose would be a 0 technique. Just a quick refresher for anyone who's not familiar with that terminology. So right here, we're going to get one-on-one pass row. Basically, how it's going to work for the Colts is they're going to have one-on-one right tackle. We're going to get basically what ends up being a double team right here. These two guys on this defensive lineman. The center is going to look for someone to help, and he eventually commits here. I think the protection is designed to go that direction. Can't quite tell based on what the center's doing. It is preseason after all. But we're going to get man-on-man here. Left tackle man-on-man and left guard man-on-man right here on Warren Brinson. Folks, you talk about an incredible rep. Brinson beats him with getting great pressure on the quarterback, but it's what he does in the act that's absolutely awesome. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see basically man-on-man pass pro across the board. The center works to his right a little bit, but he moves his head around. I think he's supposed to go and ends up committing to number 93 right there. So I think he's supposed to go to the right, which means you get one-on-one left guard on Brinson here. Let's see how he does. So he engages, gets good extension there. Look how he loses his helmet. Where's the penalty there, right? Hands to the face mask. That stinks. But watch what happens next, guys. Loses his helmet, battles through, still gets pressure on the quarterback and throws him down. I want this guy on the field. I'm just going to say this right now. I want a guy up front on the defensive line that loses his helmet in the middle of a one-on-one pass rush in an NFL game on the road and says, I do not care. I am getting to the quarterback, and I'm going to put his butt on the ground. I don't care if you take my helmet off. I don't care if you rip my kneecaps off. I am getting to the quarterback. You're not going to stop me. This is attitude. This is determination. Folks, this isn't even great technique. This isn't great speed, right? This isn't something where I look at his tape and I'm like, wow, he's got a great spin move or a great swim move or boy, is he really fast or anything like that. This is just cold, old-fashioned, unbelievable, unstoppable determination. I will not be denied. That's what Warren Brinson's showing here. I absolutely love it. You talk about a 6th-round pick. Doesn't show up a lot on the stat sheet when you look at his performance in the first 2 preseason games, but plays like this make me believe the Packers got a massive steal. All right, for the wide copy, watch Brinson right here. He's one-on-one pass row. Right there, gets a shot to the face, loses his helmet. He doesn't care. He's still going after the quarterback and throws him down with authority. Now, you may say, oh, well, I mean, that's probably not the best strategy right there. Maybe you get a little penalty, roughing the passer. I think the refs did a good job here not calling this a penalty because he grabs him while the ball's still in his hand and slings him down there towards the end. He doesn't try and pick him up and throws weight on him or anything like that. So I think this is a good no call. But I don't really care about any of that, guys, because I want a guy on my team. I don't care who. If you're a fan of the Packers, if you're a fan of someone else, it doesn't matter. You want this on your team. You want a guy who loses his helmet in the middle of a play, doesn't care, battles through a 300-pound offensive lineman who's fighting for his football life, and you get a pressure on the quarterback. This is how you win games. This is how you win championships. We talk about championship-level effort. We talk about determination, competitiveness. Everyone does. It's a cliche. This is it. This play personifies that right here. All right, sticking with the pass rush, there's Brinson right there lined up this time at 3 technique. You can see this defensive tackle. I'm going to call that a 1 technique, kind of a wide 1 technique right there. We're going to get the offensive line for the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to slide to their left, at least play side. So the center's going to take this gap. Left guard's going to take this gap. Left tackle is going to take this gap. How it ends up working out is the Packers are going to rush the edge defender around the edge like that. They're going to take Brinson and have him take this A gap, and they're going to fire this linebacker in just like this. So the guard ends up taking up the linebacker, which means the center picks up Brinson, and Brinson abuses him, gets totally held, no call, but he wins the rep, collapses the pocket right at the foot of the feet of the quarterback. Nice play from 91. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the left tackle, left guard, center, all working to their left. You can see 59 firing right there. Left guard picks him up. Let's look at Brinson right here. Firing into the A-gap, center's right there. Works through him, powers through him. Totally held. What is that? Is that holding? I can't tell, guys. I don't know, 1, 2, 3 ways. Look at that. I mean, that's as obvious holding as you get. No call there. I know it's a sidebar, but the officiating this preseason has been awful, guys. I really hope it's preseason stuff and they get it fixed for the regular season because this is inexcusable. Point of attack, getting absolutely tackled. But in terms of Brinson, this is what you want from an interior defensive lineman on a pass rush here. Collapse the pocket around the quarterback. Disrupt everything. Quarterback has nowhere to go with the football. If he's not held, this is a sack easily, right? Instead, they get no call. Turns into a good play for the Colts because number 5 is a good athlete. He's able to scramble and turn this into a nice little run. But Brinson, right here, again, point of attack. Is it technically perfect, right? I mean, no. Is it an incredible feat of size or strength or speed? No, but he's just disruptive, man. He just make plays. He's a determined joker. He's a want-to kind of guy, and that's what I love about him watching his tape. Great find here in the 6th round by the Packers. All right, from the wide copy, watch Brinson here. He's going to go inside, gets picked up by the center, and just runs right through him, collapses the pocket around the quarterback. When you talk about an interior pass rush doing exactly what you want, this is what you're talking about, right? You want the quarterback to step up with the edge rush, and there's the interior pass rush right there to get a sack or an incomplete pass, or quarterback then has to scramble and escape, and you drag him down. Now, in this instance, you get held, and you don't get the call. Like, I don't understand that, guys. That just frustrates me, right? I mean, we get calls downfield on something completely irrelevant, but, hey, let's not call holding in the pocket there. Absolutely ridiculous. But again, Brinson doing his job, being a disruptive force inside. Technique, again, not great. Nothing really jumps off the film in terms of, raw technique or skill. He just gets it done, guys. He's just a good old-fashioned football player. All right, let's go with some run defense, and there's Brinson, number 91 right there, lined up in a really tight 3 technique. It is 3rd and 1. The first down is right there. You can see the football right there, so we're talking short yardage. What the Colts are going to do, they're going to motion in a receiver here to help insert. It's going to be a downhill up the middle run, just trying to get the first down. We're talking gap concepts, which means double teams. Double team here, working up to the next level. Double team right here, working up to the next level. If you're a defensive lineman in this position, like Brinson right here, your job is to, 1, not get movement, but 2, to make sure both of these guys right here stay on you at the line of scrimmage, and your linebacker can go untouched to make the play. That is your job. You got to do it however you can. Now, there's ways you can technically do it. You can fit in there and get skinny and drop your inside knee, and Brinson does some of that here. But in terms of, once again, just getting the job done at a high level, 91 just really gets it done right here. Let's check it out. There's the motion right there. See how he inserts? It's a downhill run. Look at this double team right here. Gets in the guard, feels the double team come down. You see how he puts his knee to the ground? That's what they're taught you to do right there. Now, you would like him to get a little skinnier, but that's pretty good. He splits the double team. Neither offensive lineman can get up to the next level. Gives up a little bit of movement, but not much, right? It's actually pretty good, both of these double team defenses inside by these defensive linemen. Again, holding their ground. Right here, you love 93. Want him to come off there, but that's not terrible. They get 55 filled from the backside. Running back does a really good job falling forward for the first down. To me, if you're 28, and I don't want to be too critical of number 28 here because this is a tough play on the backside in terms of where the running back ends up going, but if no one's on you right here and you see the running back cut, you've got to be able to fire and make this tackle, hold him short of the first down. See how he just doesn't get his head in there? And 59 too, right? I mean, he's going up against an offensive lineman, so that's tough. But your linebackers here, when you're a defensive lineman, when 93 and 91 do their job like this, you got to be downhill, man. It's third and a yard. You got to commit, be physical. Instead, they kind of treat it like it's 1st and 10, and the running back's able to fall forward for a first down. Don't like that. But again, you look at 91 here, doing a good job, engaging the double team, trying to split it, ends up splitting it, doesn't really give up much ground, maybe a half yard, maybe a yard of movement. Not a bad job right here, once again, from Brinson. And from the wide copy, you can see Brinson right there as the receiver inserts on the motion. He's going to double team. See how he turns and tries to get thin? Good technique. Holds his ground. Doesn't really give up any movement. There's no real surge. You can see the offensive lineman right there. He tries to come off to the linebacker, but he can't get there because Brinson did his job. Again, is it technically perfect? No, nothing is with Brinson, right? That's sort of a recurring theme with him. But he just gets the job done, guys. He's just a tough, competitive football player doing good work. All right, let's talk about what being a disruptive force inside can do for your defense. So there's Brinson right there, number 91, lined up in a 3 technique, and he's going to be in a one-on-one passing situation, pass rush situation with the left guard, and he doesn't win this rep, but he gets a decent amount of push, and he gets his hands up, and the quarterback, you can see his feet right there, number 5, Anthony Richardson, he feels him. He feels 91 approaching. Now, if you're 5 at this point, there's been a couple times where 91's been right in your face all game long, right? Even without his helmet, he's throwing you to the ground, right? He's getting tackled, and he's collapsing the pocket in front of you like we saw a few plays ago. Once you start feeling that a little bit, when you see these guys get close, it screws things up for the quarterback. It gets the timing out of whack and creates an incomplete pass. Again, we're talking compounding effect where you're a competitive force inside like Warren Brinson. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see right there, 1-on-1, center 1-on-193, left guard 1-on-191. Let's see how Brinson does right here. Again, fights through, gets caught in the mesh there. Like the center kind of helps protect the guard here. He runs into this massive humanity. I think there's a decent chance he could have gone through. One thing I will say about Brinson in terms of a physical tool set, he is strong with his hands, right? We talk about offensive linemen. They love to get in close quarters because they say, listen, I'm stronger with my arms inside than defensive linemen are. 91's really freaking strong with his inside. You see how he gets his left hand in there and just torques him aside like that? Good Lord, that is strength, right? Talk about a powerful dude. And right there, though, 5 sees him, 5 feels him. See how it's like, oh, I got to duck in and run it, and then quickly throws it behind his running back, incomplete pass. Again, this is what happens when you get pressure in the quarterback's face, when you're a disruptive force all the way around them all game long. Anthony Richardson feels Brinson right there, tries to chuck it, get it away, and it's a poor throw. This is how you can get incomplete passes. This is how you can get stops. This is where pressures have a cumulative effect. Sacks are more important, undeniably so, but pressures are a really close second because it gets these quarterbacks a little happy feet in the pocket. Accuracy drops, technique drops, fundamentals drop, right? Let's look at Richardson at the middle of this drop here. It looks good, right? Footwork looks good. What happens when he feels Brinson? Suddenly he's all over the place, a little wacky, right? That's what happens. That's cumulative effect right there. Again, Brinson doesn't get through, right? He's close, but he doesn't get through. This is the direct result of getting to the quarterback multiple times. Number 5 there, starting to feel it, resulted in an incomplete pass. All right, from the wide copy, watch Brinson get into the left guard. I think he would have gotten through right there. I really do. That's a good torque right there. He kind of turns the guard right there. I think he would have gotten through if he weren't run into that center right there. But you can see the quarterback, good poise, good poise, good poise. Oh, feels Brinson. Now the footwork goes away. Poor throw. This is what pressure does, guys. Gets these quarterbacks. Oh my goodness, 91's here again. I got to get rid of it, right? That's what happens. That's a cumulative effect, the compound of effect of a force like Warren Brinson dominating inside. All right, let's go back to a run defense, and there's Warren Brinson right there, number 91. It's hard to see exactly what technique he's lined up in there. You could call that a 3, you could call that a 2-eye, but you can see he's pretty tight to the guard regardless. So the Colts here are going to run a downhill running concept. They're going to have the tight end block out. They're going to have the backside guard pull and wrap around. They're going to get down blocks across the board, tackle working up, guard working back, center working back, anchor down technique right here. They're going to try and take the wide receiver, and this is a pretty, I'll say this, not effective strategy. Try and have him insert right here for the safety. It doesn't work well at all, but it's a preseason. Funky things happen. But I want you guys to watch number 91. And again, he doesn't make the play here, and this is probably my only criticism of Brinson, is that he doesn't fill up the stat sheet enough. But he gets a down block right here and absolutely abuses the center, makes him look silly. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the guard pulling around. You can see the tight end blocking out. You can see the down blocks across the board. Let's watch Warren Brinson right here on the center. Sees it coming, quickly olays him like it's nothing. I mean, it's just good football, right? Again, you see that down block coming, smart player. The moment he sees, and I wonder if he was looking at this left guard's hands and saying, oh, he's a little light. You can almost see how this left guard's rocked back a little bit? I guarantee you he sees that, steps up. Oh, he's pulling. Center's coming to me. React over the top. Makes him look silly. That's really good, right? Beating a center one-on-one on the down block like this. Really good work here. But here's the thing from Brinson. Now put on the jets, put on the motor, hustle and make the play. He is a really competitive force and tries with all aggression to get to the quarterback when he's in pass rush mode. My one criticism sometimes is he'll do good things like this in the run game, but he doesn't put his foot in the ground and try and get to the ball carrier. And I think part of it is, again, he runs into people. It's a massive humanity there. It's kind of hard to figure out what all is going on there. But 91, man, you make the center look foolish. You're right there. Now hustle and try and be part of the tackle. That's the next step for 91. Again, great job making the center look dumb. Great job to beat the center. Now you got to take it to the next step. Get your foot in the ground, speed it up, and get to the ball carrier. All right, from the wide copy, watch Brinson right there. Make the center look silly. Jeez, look at that left arm. I mean, sees the center coming, shunk. Oh, my goodness. And look at that hold, too. Again, is that called? a little grab right there. And I think that's probably part of the problem with Brinson. He's getting held and mugged all of the time, and he's not getting any of these calls. I bet that's a little frustrating. To be totally honest, I guarantee you that was going through his head. As a former interior offensive lineman myself, when I could get away with holding, I could see that a lot of these defensive linemen, they would get just morally beat because they'd be like, what can I do? I can't do anything. But still, no excuse. Be an athlete. Put your foot in your ground, show off your foot speed, and get to the ball carrier. You did a great job beating the center right here. Great technique, great job. Now just take it to the next level and make the play. All right, going back to the pass rush, and there's Brinson right there. He's lined up in a true 3 technique, actually a little wider in this situation. Here, Brinson's going to have a 3-way go because the Indianapolis Colts offensive line, the center, right guard, and right tackle, they're taking the gap to their right, so the center's taking this gap, right guard's taking this gap, and right tackle's taking this gap. So Brinson right here, three-way go. He can either go outside the guard, he can go through the guard, or he can go inside the guard. Now Brinson, 91, being a great disruptor. I like his approach. Sometimes in these situations, passing situations, these defensive tackles, they try and go outside. They think they're defensive ends and create a lot of pocket space here for the quarterback. Brinson does a good job. He works inside shoulder here, gets right on this hash, forces the quarterback off the spot, results in a good play for the Packers defense. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the center, right guard, right tackle, all taking the gap to the right, which means you get 1-on-1 right here. Left guard on Brinson. Brinson fakes a little outside move. Like to see that. Get this left guard on his heels. Then he goes inside. Has a decent path, but the left guard does a good job staying with it. But even though he doesn't get there, it gets pressure near the quarterback. Look where the quarterback sets up, right? A little bit to the left of this hash right there. Where does Brinson end up pushing this guard? Right a little to the left of the hash. Quarterback has to move, has to get off his spot. What happens? He runs right into the edge rusher a beat early. He ends up escaping, but then the cavalry arrives, ends up being an incomplete pass. Again, even when 91, even when Brinson doesn't win, and we've seen him win, even without his helmet during this cut-up, he still generates chaos. He's still a disruptive force, and I think that's one of the many reasons why the Packers should be and are high on him as a defensive line prospect. Look, he's not a perfect prospect. He's got to work on a lot of things, and we've covered some of that today. But I tell you what, just being a playmaker in terms of causing chaos on the offense, 91 does a great job. All right, from the wide copy, watch Brinson fake outside, go inside, force the quarterback off his spot a little bit there. And again, just creating chaos. You just want to, as a backup defensive lineman, you want to make life as hard for the offense as possible. Because if you're in there, if you're Brinson, you're in there as a backup, as a reserve, offenses are going to breathe this sigh of relief. They're going to say, okay, we're going to have a clean pocket. It's going to be a very calm environment for my quarterback to work. But 91, he gets pressure. He's a disruptive force, and that can be big in these sub packages, because when offenses face these sub defensive packages, they see that as big play opportunities. But if you cause chaos like this, get the quarterback a little uncomfortable, those big plays don't happen like we see here. I think Brinson has a chance to be a valuable piece. He's not going to play a lot, but still be a valuable piece for the Pack. All right, let's end on great team defense execution here for the Green Bay Packers and Brinson. You can see him there paired with number 49 right there on the left side of your screen. So I think this is by design. This is going to be a little stunt here. So we're going to have 49 take a step upfield, and then he's going to use an inside move right here to flush the quarterback. Brinson right here goes into the guard a little bit initially, then he goes outside. I don't know if this was 100% design or it just worked out this way, but either way, it's great defense. Basically, what happens is 49 gets washed down inside. The quarterback says, okay, I'm just going to escape the pocket because the outside contain guy went away. But then Brinson, again, he recognized he doesn't do a full disruptive pass rush, right? We've seen him be much more aggressive in the past. Not on this play. It makes me think it's a design. He then goes right to the quarterback, gets in his face, forces a short throw in the 2-minute drill, which is a benefit to the Packers defense. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see 49 inside move right there, quarterback escape, and there's 91 right there. Has to check it down. It's 2-minute drill, inbounds, clock is running. This has to be designed. I mean, this is too well executed, right? He goes right to the defensive line, doesn't do any sort of aggressive move. We've seen how aggressive he is in the past, and then goes right outside to the quarterback. This is great team defense, and this is one of the things I was hoping to see a little bit more with 91. We saw it in 2-minute. I hope we see it in the third preseason game, because I think he could be really good in a two-man game. Because if you're a guard right here, and you've been going up against all game long and inside, just power move, getting pressure to the quarterback, and now it doesn't happen, and you bring him outside, this quarterback is going to be looking to bail, and there's going to be a guard that's not going to be very aggressive. He's going to be looking for the inside move, so he's going to have, by he, I mean Brinson there, he's going to have a clear path like we see here all game long. And this is where you can have a compounding effect in terms of skill sets and value to the defense. I think Brinson, as a 6-rounder, far from a perfect rookie. He's got some clear flaws, but we've seen some good job run defense. He can beat the centers. He can win double teams. He is a beast. He's a competitive joker inside. He's willing to play ball without his helmet and get it done. I like him on this Packers defense. He's not going to be a starter. I think he's a guy that can be developed into a good player, but I think right now he can be a really good situational piece for this Green Bay unit up front.